Hello and welcome back to another episode of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay Howe, episode 11. First and foremost, I would like to thank you all for allowing me to celebrate episode 10. I know that 10 episodes doesn't really seem like a big milestone, but for me it is. You know, I'm a one woman show. I'm doing all of this, on my own. I'm recording, I'm editing, I'm producing, I'm yapping. I ain't got no script. I think that's pretty obvious by now. I'm kind of just going off the whim when I press record, but you really stuff like this, you really have to self-motivate to continue doing it. And if you love what you do, then it's not that hard to self-motivate. Um, so yeah, I'm just really proud of myself that I've kept it going. 10 episodes strong. I already know there's going to be 100 episodes. Like I know we're going to get there. I'll clip this when we get to episode 100 when I have, some insane guest. Like imagine I have like Aaron Taylor Johnson on or something like that. It'd be sick. Okay, dream big, girl. But yeah, 10 episodes. I knew I really wanted to celebrate that, and I do appreciate all of the support that you guys lended to me for episode 10. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in again. If you're watching or listening, I really appreciate it. You know, I'm enjoying this, and I'm going to continue to enjoy it, and I hope that you do as well. One of these days there'll be 100 episodes for some new person to binge, you know what I mean? Like, imagine just finding me after I had 100 episodes and you get to watch all of those. So that'll be really cool. I hope that you enjoy them, and I hope that, from the bottom of my insufferable heart, you can understand where I'm coming from anytime I have an insufferable take. So, thank you guys so much for that. It's crazy too, like with the whole self-motivation of it all. When you create something with like a $0 budget, which is almost all of anything I've ever created. If you've been with me for any amount of time on the internet or in real life, you know that I am perpetually broke. Okay? It doesn't really matter how hard I work. I live in Southern California, and as soon as you start to make more money, the cost of living goes up. So you're sort of breaking even every single time. And I haven't really been able to catch up in that way. But I can't help but be a creative. I need to create stuff. I need to put on a show. I need to be inviting you to my next performance or whatever it may be. Like, that's just who I am. I'm a performer. I'm a performer at the end of the day. You know, in my soul, that's what I do. I perform and I create. And, imagine if I had a budget, girl. Imagine if I had a budget. The stuff that I could do, you know? And I'm not perpetually broke anymore. I'm letting go of that part of my life. I am living in abundance once again. Okay? Abundance is flowing in. I'm going to be taken care of, and everything that I need will come to me. And so I'm going to continue to create and continue to follow my dreams and, be in alignment with who I'm supposed to be in this world and what I'm most meant to do. And you should be doing that too. And I feel that if we're in alignment with our calling, then everything's going to be fine. You know, especially in the climate and the timeline that we're in, it's just like, just let me fucking dream, you know? Just let me dream, just let me do something good for myself. And, I don't wanna be selfish, I'm just saying we all need to be able to live our dreams, you know? And then half that time you need to be doing, stuff good for your neighbors and, being an activist and all of that. But sometimes you just want to focus on, like your dreams. So let's all do that together. Let's all vow to be in alignment with our callings. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys remember what I said my calling was in several episodes ago. My calling is going to the spa. And obviously, I was joking. I do love going to the spa, and I do want to incorporate a little spa outing every now and again in my life. Okay. Right now, she's not in the budget. Budget is zero. And, I'll get a budget here one thing. So, yeah, keep going. Keep doing your thing. Even if nobody's watching, nobody's listening. Yeah, no views, you got no subscribers. It kind of really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And this is kind of how I feel about you guys know that I really love fashion and I love clothes. And that's at the end of the day, it's kind of the only thing I care about is like clothes and shoes and jewelry. I know that's surface level. I know that you probably think that that's, you know, lame, but that's just who I am. That dates back to the day I was born. You know? When your mom puts you in your cute little bring home from the hospital outfit that she's been thinking of for 9 fucking months while she was pregnant with you, and she's like, "Oh, I can't wait to put her in this little fucking bonnet and this little dress and bring her home from the hospital after she's born." Yeah, I wish I could have curated that myself. Okay? I remember having a full-blown argument with my mom on my, like, first or second day of kindergarten because I was dreaming of the outfit that I was going to wear, and she put me in some bullshit. Adults are always trying to dress kids like adults, and that's annoying. And so I remember one day I was going to kindergarten, okay? My teacher was Mrs. Nike, okay? And she was a vampire, okay? How do I know she was a vampire? Well, anytime you see Mrs. Nike, she's a very pale woman, very pale. You could see all the inner workings of her vein system, you know? And when you seen her, she was wearing big old sunglasses, a wide brim hat, gloves on her hands, long sleeve, hottest day in the summer, long sleeve shirt, and she had a fucking umbrella, okay? Now, maybe she had lupus and she was allergic to the sun. But as a kid, we all thought she was a vampire. And we were like, if the sun touches her, she's going to burn up. Anyway, that's kind of not really, doesn't really matter. She always wore leggings, okay, with stirrups at the bottom and little flats, little pointy flats. Long black leggings, stirrups at the bottom with her long sleeve white button up shirt with her gloves and her hat and her damn umbrella. Okay. One day, my mom had me in leggings, getting ready for school, 6 a.m. And I said, I do not want to be wearing leggings, girl. Give me my damn jeans. Give me my damn maxi skirt. And she was like, no, this is what you're wearing. And I was like, girl, no. Girl, no, I'm not trying to disrespect you. You're my mother, but girl, I'm not wearing leggings. Are you fucking kidding me? Activewear? And this is before activewear was a thing, right? I mean, ladies in the 90s, they was wearing leggings. My mom, her like blueprint outfit was biker shorts with a flannel and scrunchy socks and usually like a high top, Velcro shoe, like a damn Reebok or something like that. That was my mom's like blueprint outfit. And she had the purple hair and the nose ring. Okay. And that's what she wore. So biker shorts and leggings to me were for adults. That's what adults were. I was really not trying to dress like that. Even though now biker shorts and a damn flannel is the blueprint for me because, we are grown now and we want to dress like adults, but don't dress me like an adult. I am in kindergarten. I want to wear my dress. I want to wear my skirt. I had a lot of pieces at that time of my life that I was married to. I had this blue skirt. I was polka dot. I wore that a lot. I had these little cut off, like white ruffly tops and stuff. My outfits, I was very serious about them. And this at a very early age. So it is quite literally still all I care about. Okay? And don't mind, the outfits that I wear here. It's sort of I'm just at my house. But clothes and shoes is all I care about. So, when I don't know where I was going with this, but I just want to say in this, if this resonates with anybody. Sorry for the sniff. If I put on an outfit that I am feeling myself in. I'm like, body is tea. I'm snatched. These fucking jeans fit perfectly. The shirt is flowing off my shirt. The fabric is draping on my body exactly how I want it. The shoes are popping. The hair is good. The makeup is good. If I'm feeling good in the outfit and someone makes a comment, like, "Ooh, who would wear that?" "Oh my God, what are those?" Anything like that, impenetrable. I will not be affected by that at all because I know that I love the outfit and I'm stepping out feeling good in it. And you cannot tell me any different. And my friend Sarah and I have like we roasting each other pretty heavily, right? Because we're best friends. And so she be roasting my outfits all the time. But she can't roast me any more than I am allotted to be roasted. I mean, I love the outfit that I'm in. I'm unroastable. I know she's gonna roast me because that's kind of how we are. That's our dynamic. But you can't roast me. Now, the other hand, say say I'm being styled for an event, okay, and someone gives me an outfit. Like I go to a dressing room and there are outfits chosen for me and I have to sort of pick from someone else's choices. And while they might be like fly and cool and, trendy or whatever, if I put it on and I don't feel good about it, that's going to be a problem. And even if everyone around me is saying that it looks cute, you look good in this, if I don't feel good in it, then that is the issue. And it won't be solved until I put on something that I'm comfortable in. So, say I go out in that. I'm already feeling like this isn't really me. It doesn't really align with the stuff that I usually wear. I'm sort of out of my comfort zone. Wearing this, I don't feel good. And then someone tries to roast me in it. Now, I will be charred if someone roasts me in an outfit that I'm already not comfortable in. You know? So it's kind of that like you got to have a force field around you. And I see, I don't even know why I got on that topic. Because I have a couple things written down, but I love clothes and shoes, I guess. I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, episode 11, it's going off without a hitch, I guess. Speaking of my friend Sarah, I just got off the phone with her and she revealed to me some amazing news about her career. She got like this really amazing opportunity. She was cast for something really fucking cool. I won't be revealing that obviously because she hasn't announced it yet, but if you guys aren't rooting for your friends in a way that you like oh, she told me this news and I got full body chills. And I'm like, I can't wait to see this. Like, you're going to be great. Like, this is such a big milestone in your career. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's crazy how some friends don't want that for you. And you really need to you need to figure out who's there for you and who's not. Because there are people in this world who, pretend to be your friend. And when they hear news of you being successful, they be getting jealous. And they try to, dim your light and ruin your success. And I don't like people like that. And some people are susceptible to friends like that, you know? And I think that we all need to sort of collectively, we should be able to identify these type of friends pretty soon after you start associating with them. Sometimes you be friends with these people for years and you don't know that they're a fucking hater behind the scenes. So, you know, root for your fucking friends, okay? Because that's important, and you're never gonna get anything back from the universe if you're a fucking hater. I don't know why I wanted to bring that up either. But yeah, congratulations to Sarah on her, big milestone career move. I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. I definitely wanna have her on the pod. Season 2 of this pod, we're gonna be having guests. And Sarah will obviously be one of the guests, if not the first guest on the show. And I'm really excited to interview her actually. She is my best friend for like the last like 15 years or whatever, but I'm going to interview her in a serious manner. And we're going to learn a lot about her. We're going to learn a lot about her career, and maybe you'll learn a lot about, just the acting career in general, and how to get into that or whatever. I don't know. So, we'll get into that. Congratulations to Sarah for that, and it got me thinking about, my acting career and what it used to be, and some of the shows that we my cats are over there fighting. I don't know if you could hear that, so if you Hey! Alright, I don't know. He won't come here, and now he won't. Anyway, let's move on. I used to do theater, live theater. Actually at a lot of places, but I did go to college for theater. Fun fact. Most of you know that because most of anybody I associate with now is someone that I met at LBCC, which is Long Beach City College. Did I go to, Long Beach State? No, I did not. No, I did not. But LBCC, you know, there is going to be a lot of stars that come out of Long Beach City College. Hands down. You know, I'm biased. I think my class, 2008 to 2011, probably some of the best actors that ever passed through LBCC, and a lot of them have a lot of success since then. So, shout out to LBCC. You made a lot of stars over there. Um but I was thinking about when I first got into LBCC, it was 2008. Um, of course, I started auditioning right away because I'm an actor, and I want to be acting in shows like right away. So when they did auditions for one acts, um, I think that's what they called them. What were they called at one acts were usually like a high school thing, but one act, if you don't know, is literally like one act of a whole play, usually. Either they write it where it's like a short film, but for the stage. That's a one act. I can't remember what they called them at LBCC. A day rep. A day rep. So a day rep was basically like you do a show. It's a short show. It's like 15 to 30 minutes long. No intermission or whatever. And uh, you perform that in the day, and everybody who's in theater, like it's part of like your class requirements to come see the show. Like that's your audience, is like your peers basically. I mean, your family and friends aren't coming to see the show. I mean, your friends are, but not your family. Like you don't invite people to the show. They don't buy a ticket to come see the day reps at your local college or whatever. But I auditioned right away for the day reps, and I remember thinking that would be so crazy if the first one that I get cast in, like starting here at LBCC, I had to kiss someone. Can you imagine if I had to do a kiss on my first ever like day rep? That would be so crazy. And oh my god, what if the person that I kissed was, like, so cute? I am 18 years old, by the way, and so it's sort of like, I was very naive and I was very like, "Oh my god, what if this happens?" Well, turns out, you guys know how I'm really good at manifestation. That's exactly what happened. I went and looked at the cast list after they released you audition and then they put up the cast list and you go see if you were cast in any of the shows. There were several day reps, all directed by different directors. So the first day rep that I was cast in was directed by Hal Landon, a legend in, LBCC history and also just acting history in general. I mean, the guy was in movies and TV and commercials and everything. Like, the guy is a fucking legend. Look him up. Okay. He also played Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, the stage play, for 40 years. 40 years. Every Christmas, he played Scrooge in the stage play of A Christmas Carol. So the guy's a fucking legend. Okay, I didn't know this at the time. I just signed up for classes and just auditioned. He's the first person who cast me. So shout out to you, Hal Landon. You're the fucking goat. But he essentially cast me in a role where I did have to kiss a boy, and he just so happened to be the cutest boy in the theater at that time. His name was Corey Nestor. Shout out Corey Nestor. If you are still around, still acting, you're probably married with kids now, but you was really cute in the day. I mean, I don't know what you look like now, but you guys remember Corey Nestor if you were in LBCC. He was a very good actor, and he was just very much, he looked like he was from a boy band or something. 18 years old, this is who I thought was cute. So yeah, the first thing that I was cast in at LBCC, I had to kiss Corey Nestor. A dream. A dream. Okay? And it was very awkward. You kind of don't realize that when you have a kissing scene in a stage play, you kind of have to understand that you will be rehearsing your scene 4 hours a night for 5 nights a week for like 4 to 6 weeks before you even start like performing that, day rep or whatever it may be, whether it be, a full-blown production, a full-blown play or a black box theater play or whatever. You'll be rehearsing that every single night. This is why actors fall in love on set. And Corey and I did not fall in love. I was not, how you say, attractive at the time. I don't know. I was just a young fucking like high schooler or whatever. I had acne and shit. And I smoked a lot of weed. But I'm just saying, like, when you do a show with someone, whether it be theater or, film and TV, it's an unbreakable bond that you create with the cast and the crew of any particular show. And I've been on minimal movie sets, right? I think we talked about it in the last episode or a couple episodes ago, how I did those low budget movies with my dad back in the day. But those are sort of, you know, it's a little bit different. I have more experience doing stage plays with people, and it's an unbreakable bond. And if you have a kissing scene, you have to rehearse that a fucking 100 times before you even get to perform that. So I kind of didn't realize that when I, got the script and found out that I was going to have to kiss Corey. I was like, oh my God, like that's going to be crazy. But I kind of didn't realize, like, when we did the first like run through and Hal was there and it was just Corey and I in this scene, and the kissing scene came out, like the kissing part came up, and we're like saying our lines in a do 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 do, and then they kiss, and we're like, yep, And Hal's like, okay, kiss. And it's just us there in our street clothes in the middle of the fucking, you know, auditorium. Like, and we just went, what do you even do? We didn't have an intimacy coordinator or anything. Like, shit was so fucking awkward. And I kind of manifested that. I was like, let me get a little fucking kissing scene with a hot boy. And that's exactly what I got. And it was awkward as hell, girl. That's why intimacy coordinators are essential on set, because you can't just be, you can't just be making it up. And that's also why people be falling in love on fucking movie sets and shit. So that's kind of how it goes. But that was my first experience doing a show at LBCC. And I was like, okay, this career is going to be lit. I'm going to get better at this or whatever. I ended up, we did another show, like the next year or whatever. It was a big stage play called Till Death Do Us Part, in which it follows a handful of, let me see if I could pull up the synopsis of the show. Till Death Do Us Part theater play. Um Maybe I can get a damn synopsis. Till Death Do Us Part is a theatrical title that appears in various plays and productions, often with murder mystery or relationship themes. Okay, hold on, that's not what I mean. Basically in this show, you follow, I think it's 4 couples. It's a farce comedy, by the way. Very slapstick, lots of movement, lots of entrances and exits and crazy shit going on. The set is moving, like, it was incredible, this fucking play. But yeah, it was about couples till death do us part, newlyweds, people who've been married for a long time. It's sort of like how their marriages have come about, like what their marriages are now or whatever, and they're all staying at this lodge. It's kind of like a hotel or whatever in some fucking bumfuck town or whatever. Anyway, I played a couple, obviously, in that show. My character was like a sort of let herself go as far as body goes. And every time she steps onto the stage, she's 50 pounds heavier. And her husband is literally just like feeding her fucking moon pies and donuts and ice cream all the time. Because, and low key, I think he wanted her to get bigger, but she was sort of like, kind of insufferable in the way that she was always wanting to be snacking, so it was a very good role for me. Um, but I had to be kissing that man, and he was sort of like an older man who played my husband, and he was a little bit he was a little improving a little too much. And I remember in the beginning, like in the show, we did a film portion of like we filmed to then project later on the stage in the beginning of the play. Like we project these films that we made earlier, where it's like, oh, this is like where they started, here's where they got engaged and where they got married or whatever. And the scene that I did with my husband in the show was us like at our first dinner together, like our first dinner date. And we have like this little food fetish thing going where he's like feeding me cake and I'm sitting on his lap, and it's funny. It's a farce. It is ridiculous. It's slapstick. It's supposed to be funny. So we're doing these takes where he's like feeding me little pieces of cake. I'm sitting on his lap and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm all extra, like the food is so good, whatever, because that's my character. And he's supposed to be like, "Oh, yeah," like, she's like he thinks he's pleasing me by feeding me this cake or whatever, and this motherfucker's, like, putting his hands between my legs, like, onto my freaking coochie, and during some of the takes, and I'm like, "What are you fucking doing, dude?" That's not something you improv, you know? And we didn't have an intimacy coordinator. Nobody was there to protect me as an 18, 19-year-old college student doing this play. And the guy who played my husband, I think he was like in his 30s or something. He was a smaller guy. He was like small in stature, but old in age, you know? I mean, he was probably like 32 or something when we were filming that scene. So I didn't have anybody there to protect me. And my mom was there because she did costumes on the show because she was also going to the college at the same time. I think she was doing costumes. And I told her low key, I'm like, this motherfucker is like trying to flick my bean during the scenes. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to be rude, but like, it doesn't seem necessary. Also, mind you, I'm sitting on his lap, so anything he does down here is under the fucking table, so it doesn't even add to the scene, really. He's literally just feeling me up for no reason. So it's kind of like, what the hell? And I did not know how to advocate for myself. And luckily, my mom told the director who was shooting the scene, she's like, she's saying that he's touching her on her freaking puss. And it's not necessary because that's under the fucking table. It's not even adding to the scene. So my mom actually, shout out to her, she did advocate for me in that scenario. But damn, dude, you really need someone to advocate for you, and you need that intimacy coordinator, and all of this shit is hella fucking awkward. Doing being an actor is fucking awkward. It takes a very special person to be serious about that craft, you know? And, you know, on top of that, say you become a big old Hollywood actor or whatever, and everybody's posting in the tabloids about your personal life. It's like, it's a hard life being an actor. It really is. And a lot of people are like, oh, what do? You make movies. It's like, have you ever fucking made a movie before? It's so fucking awkward. It's so fucking awkward. So, props to my actors, props to, you know, my actor friends and, um, you know, all that kind of stuff. I did okay, so after that first play that I did where I kissed Corey Nestor, I was cast in another one act play or a day rep, also by Hal Landon. He always cast me. Shout out to Hal Landon. He did like me as an actor. Some of the professors there would like they wouldn't play favorites, but it's like, oh, you know that blank is going to cast you in the show that you audition for because he likes you as an actor. You know what I mean? So Hal was my guy. He would always cast me in his big stage plays and his day reps. And so I got cast in another day rep. You know, you have to do these all the time. It's just part of the LBCC culture as you in the theater is like you're always auditioning for these day reps and you're always rehearsing for them and you're always and if you're not in them or rehearsing for them or cast in them, you are going to see them. That's part of your class. You have to go see them. So anyway, I got cast in another one in where I had to kiss again. Hal Landon just wanted to see me kissing fellas in these shows or whatever. So I got cast with several other of my friends at that point. This is a big cast. Like the one before was just me and him in that scene, me and Corey in that scene. But this one, the storyline was, I can't really remember exactly what it was, but basically I had a husband and shit was rocky or whatever. And there was a landscaper or like a pool boy or something that was, you know, cleaning my pool around. Supposed to be like some rich lady or whatever. And me and my girls are in the house and we look out the window and this fine ass pool boy is out there. And I end up cheating on my husband with this pool boy. And by cheating, I mean I end up making out with this pool boy, you know, even though I'm married. I'm a married woman. And of course, I'm 19 years old. I'm playing like a 45-year-old woman or whatever. I've been married for 20 years or something. Anyway, you know how it goes in theater. So basically, I, you know, had to kiss this other guy. In this instance, and I'll never forgive you for this, Hal, the guy that he casts for the hot pool boy was the most heinous looking dude in theater, in our theater bubble, in our class. He cast us, and I won't name him, you know, because if you were there, then you know who it was. But he was super nerdy, arrogant, ugly as fuck actor in our class. And to the point where, I mean, he was so unattractive that it was to the point where when in the scene, me and my girls are supposed to be like, "Oh my god, look at the pool boy, like, he's so fine, this and that." It's like, "Damn, I'd like to jump on that." All these married women are, like, drooling, looking out the window at this guy. And then when he enters the scene, when we performed it, the audience literally fucking laughed. They gasp laughed because there's no fucking way these bitches are talking about this man. He's ugly as fuck, you know? So, and pro tip in theater, you do not want the audience to be laughing when it's not a funny scene. You do not want that to be happening. So, the casting was so um uncharacteristic in a way that it made the fucking audience laugh when this hot man walked in and it was this fucking dude who also everybody knew, right? Because we're all in the, program together in theater at the college or whatever. So everybody knows. And they're like, there's no way he cast blank for the fucking hot man role. There's definitely hotter dudes in theater that he could have cast, but he cast this ugly ass dude. And on top of that, he was arrogant as fuck. And he was sort of a fucking dick to everybody. And he was like a weird anime white guy. You know the kind, the type. And it's like, nobody fucking cares if you're an anime white guy, but you can't be cast as a hot fucking pool boy and expect people to take that seriously. Okay? And I was sort of, when I got cast in that role, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to kiss somebody again. I'm going to be more professional this time. I've done it before, okay? I did that last one. I'm going to do this one now and be more professional, okay? And then I found out who I had to fucking kiss. And that was a fucking bummer, okay? And I had to kiss him. And like I said, we have to rehearse it a bunch of times before we even fucking perform this for our whole class. Fucking low-key humiliating for me, having to kiss this man, okay? And basically, he would, at rehearsals, and mind you, rehearsal was right after lunch, okay? Which is already, we don't need to have bubble guts while we're trying to rehearse these fucking kissing scenes or whatever and take the fact that you're supposed to be a hot man seriously. I mean, everybody was like, come on, Hal, what are you doing? What are you doing casting this guy? You're going to ruin it. This is breaking the fourth wall. This is busting through the fourth wall like fucking the Kool-Aid man. Okay? We cannot suspend our belief in this instance to say that this is a hot man. Like, you really have to be kidding right now. So, anyway, after lunch, we'd go in to rehearse the thing. And this motherfucker every fucking day would be like, "You ready to make out today? Well, I'll have you know, I had pizza for lunch. Pepperoni to be exact." And he'd like smile and he'd have like fucking plaque on his teeth and shit. Oh my God, dude. What a tragedy I had to do. What a fucking charity work I had to do to put on this fucking day rep. No paying fucking audience member. Nobody's buying tickets to the show. I'm doing this as a charity. I'm doing this as, I have to get points for this to pass this course type shit. A bitch ain't even making a bag. We're not getting paid. There aren't paying audience members. Like, this is, well, hey, Lindsay, are you ready to rehearse today? I'll have you know, I had a spam musubi roll for lunch. And guess what? I don't have any mints either. Do you have a Tic Tac? Or should we just go in like this? Oh my God, dude. I feel like if he was hot, I would be able to, suspend my own belief and think like, he's hot or whatever in this. And then, we performed that 3 times through the week. I think there was, like, 3 performances, like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever, we had to perform that. And during the scene where I kiss him, I'm cheating on my husband, okay? And the guy who played my husband was this other actor or whatever, and he was awesome. We all loved him. He was a really good guy, and he played my husband. So in the scene, the hot pool boy comes in, everybody's fucking laughing because he's not hot. And I am basically like, they're like, sort of like, can I help you? I think I was like, oh, do you need some lemonade or whatever? Trying to be a fucking, lady or whatever, whatever women do when they're trying to fuck the pool boy. And in the scene, we're basically like start kissing because we can't resist each other. And I am having such a horrible marriage that like I can't resist making out with the fucking pool boy. While I'm making out with the pool boy, my husband enters and catches us in the act. It's supposed to be this dramatic moment. And I was supposed to be like, oh my God, like I didn't mean to, even though I definitely meant to. My character was a hoa. And I'm like, oh my bad. Like I didn't mean to do that. Okay. On the 3rd performance, I'm kissing this man who had a fucking spam Asubi roll before the goddamn performance. The guy had no fucking dental hygiene. The dental hygiene was not in the room with us. And I was basically, I was kissing him, and it's supposed to just be like one kiss and we hold it for a second and my husband enters and we push away from each other, whatever. On the 3rd performance, though, the guy who plays my husband forgets his cue. So I'm stuck there on the stage kissing this nasty man for what feels like 30 minutes. It was probably less than 7 seconds, but I could hear too in the back, like, go, 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 go. Like he missed his fucking cue to come in. And I remember talking to him afterwards being like, I can't fucking believe you did that. Why don't you fucking pay attention to your cues, bro? You had me out there fucking making out with this man because it was supposed to be like a hold, but now we have to kind of, you know what I mean? We're trying to fucking make it seem like we're making out now because there's nobody but busting in and stop us. You know? We could have ended up, laying on the couch or something if he never came in. I said, I will never forgive you for this, bro. What the hell? So that was my other fucking traumatic experience of having to kiss somebody on the set. And you know what? People in Hollywood will never have to deal with that. Because if you're being cast in a movie and there is a kissing scene, almost 100% of the time, the person you're kissing is hot as fuck. Either conventionally attractive or you've been attracted to them for years because you've been seeing them in other movies or whatever. Like, it's rare that you're going to have to get, I'm talking about big Hollywood. If you're like, oh, you're casting this role, you have to kiss Chris Evans. Oh, darn. Oh, shucks. I got to kiss Chris Evans. That's going to be crazy hard for me to do. Oh no, Aaron Taylor Johnson and I have to kiss in a scene. Oh man, how am I gonna make this feel real? How am I gonna pretend like I'm attracted to him? Shucks. You know what I mean? But you're doing college community theater. You are doing charity work, okay? Those actors are not fine. Well, Corey Nestor was fine, for 2008. You know, he had a 5 o'clock shadow, for God's sakes. I was smitten, you know? Still awkward as fuck, though. I will say that. Um, so yeah, that's some of my favorite kissing scenarios that I dealt with as a young actor in college. I think that's the only two people I had to kiss. Well, actually, no, there was that third person who molested me during the filming, basically, and tried to, flick my bean while we were recording a scene. So yeah, I did have to kiss a couple of actors. So shout out to intimacy coordinators. They are very necessary. And if you're in a kissing scene with someone, you should not be improving. Don't do it, girl. It is not appropriate. Um yeah, that's it. That's it. In other news, I saw F1 in the theater. Brad Pitt still going strong. The guy is a good actor. I fear he's in his career. And let's set aside the fact that, he's likely a terrible person and abusive to Angelina Jolie or their children, okay? Give me a fucking break. Let me just separate the art from the artist real quick, okay? It's unfair that I can't just talk about something and I have to acknowledge, you know what I mean? Well, it's not unfair. Well, it is unfair to me. Why don't you just be a good man for once? And let me enjoy a damn fucking movie without having to fucking drum up something that you did to your ex-wife 10 years ago. You know what I mean? I mean, stop being a fucking tragic man. But anyway, in Brad Pitt's career, in my opinion, he was too attractive for the 90s and early 2000s. He was so fine that nobody respected him for being a good actor. And I think that that's a fear that a lot of attractive people have when they actually want to be someone with a talent, you know? You can you can be hot as fuck and also be really talented or really smart or whatever. Two things can be true at once. And I feel like with Brad Pitt's career is they were like, you are just too fine to be a good actor. And that is untrue. He is a good actor. He has done really good movies, you know? He shouldn't be punished for being as fine as he is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think F1 was really good. And you know what? I don't give a fuck about racing cars. I don't care about, F1. I could not care less. But my girl Sierra really wanted to see it and we were like, "Oh, let's go on half off night or whatever." And she's like, "Let's see F1." And I'm like, "Okay, Brad Pitt, sign me up. I don't care about the cars really, but, Brad Pitt and damn Javier, what's his name? What's his last name? Let me look it up. Let me look it up. Javier Bardem. Fine as hell. Okay, and that accent is also fine as hell. So, you know what? If there's one thing that's going to get me out to go see a movie, it's going to be a very fine man. So I did agree to go see F1. And it was incredible. It was incredible. I don't know how they filmed that shit. I was on the edge of my damn seat the entire time. I laughed. I cried. I was pissed. I was like, oh, the betrayal. Oh no. They lost again? How? Are they ever going to win? It's like, I was really on the edge of my seat the whole time. So I would recommend, that movie. He did a really good job. I mean, everybody did a good job. So, shout out to F1. Um, that was last week. And then yesterday I saw the Fantastic Four. Um and what I will say about the Fantastic Four was it was mid. It was mid as fuck. I hate to say it. The cast was great. The storyline, was whatever. I mean, this ain't a spoiler or nothing. This is, what they show you in the trailer, but basically The Fantastic Four, husband and wife, they're gonna have a baby. They don't know if the baby's gonna have, superpowers or whatever. They don't know if it's a normal baby or a superpower baby. But they are trying to negotiate with Galactus because he is about to consume the planet Earth. And Galactus is basically like, hey, you know what? Low key, um, I will spare Earth if you give me that baby. She's still pregnant with the baby. It's not even born yet. And they're like, no, we're not giving you our baby. That's not really how we're going to negotiate this. They're just trying to figure out a different way. And then Galactus is like, I'm going to get that baby one way or another. So I fear the whole thing could have been settled by, just give him the baby. You know, just give him the damn baby. He wants the baby to inherit all the planets that he's consumed. He's an all powerful planet consuming super god, you know? And while that's really fucked up that he's consuming planets, um, he's a god. And if you give your baby to him and he retires and this baby inherits being a god, that's really not that bad of a life for that baby. You know, it's not like you are giving your baby to someone who's gonna damn like enslave it or something, treat it really horribly, make him do, data entry for the rest of his life in the in term of space. He's gonna be a god. The hell? That's a great, sometimes you got to figure out what's the best route for this baby. You want to keep this baby on Earth, a dying planet with a bunch of assholes on it? Or do you want to give this baby to a god so it can then be a god itself? And now you spared Earth. You saved all these fucking assholes on Earth. That is a win-win. And I know she was having trouble having babies before, She was having some, fertility issues. So she finally gets pregnant. She don't really want to give that up. I understand that. I'm just saying you could have spared everybody by just giving them the baby. But that's just my opinion. Um, the Fantastic Four, it's just these characters are not that lovable. They're really not, dude. The Rock guy, mid, I'm not really in love with him. And then we have, Johnny Blaze, the Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, who is, I think that they really thought they were going to save the movie, and the storyline, the very boring storyline of the Fantastic Four, for being honest, by casting Pedro Pascal in the movie because everybody loves Pedro Pascal, right? This is true. This is a fact. If you put Pedro in your movie or your commercial or your ad or your show or whatever it may be, everyone's going to come to see it because they love him. Okay? That's why I saw it. You really think I fucking saw this movie for Joseph Quinn? No. Was he very cute in the movie? Yeah, in my opinion, I would. I'd hit it. Okay, Joseph Quinn is very cute. But that's not why I came to see this movie. I came to see it for Pedro Pascal. And while you guys did a good job in, casting him to bring people to the theater to watch it, the character that he plays is lame. Mr. Fantastic is lame. And him and Sue Storm, she's always arguing with him about how, he's basically got a little autism. And all he cares about is like mathematics and, risk and reward and the logistics of it all. And she's like, I need you to care about me and this baby. And he's low-key like, the simplest solution is to give Galactus this baby. And she's like, why would you even say that? I'm like, because it's true, girl. The hell? But I feel for her in a way. Her man is not taking care of her the way that she wants him to. And I feel her I feel for her in that way, especially when you got his best friend who is he called the Thing? What do they call him? Why is he not on this fucking list? Ben Grimm. Okay, I don't know if that's what he's called, the Thing. I don't really know a lot about the comic books. Um he's very protective. He's very strong and capable and willing to, put his life on the line to save people or whatever. And her man is damn Stretch Armstrong. All he can do is reach for shit. Why would I want that to be my man? And he doesn't even give a shit about protecting our baby from Galactus, because the logical thing to do is give Galactus the baby to spare everyone on Earth. I mean, for God's sake. Oh no, what is that? I just peeled off one of my Jill polishes. So anyway, at the end of the day, um Fantastic Four was very mid for me. I would literally give it a 4 out of 10 if I'm being honest. The best part about it was damn Julia Garner, being the damn Silver Surfer. And I don't know if I mean, she is literally a Silver Surfer. I don't know if that's her character's name. And here it says her name is Shalabal. I don't know enough about the stars to dispute it. So I'm not going to say anything more about that. But she was hot as fuck in the movie. Okay? Yes, she was completely CGI. But you know, I don't know, the practical effect of having her as you know, having her be fully nude and sort of body painting her, it probably wasn't, A, in the budget, and B, she probably didn't want to do that. So, but yeah, she was hot as hell in the movie. And you know what? I'm sorry to say I would not recommend the movie. I would wait until it's streaming. And I really hate to say that, because we need to be going to the theater. We need to go to the theater and watch movies at your local theater. Okay? We need to, and there's a lot of good movies coming out now. And there's reasons to go to the movies now. And so let's go ahead and keep that going. Luckily my theater in my town has a half off night on Tuesdays. It's half off the tickets. So, luckily for me, being perpetually broke, I can afford a $7 ticket, every now and again. And right now there's a lot of good movies that are out, and it's nice to be watching those, in theater. So, yeah, next week I'll let you know what else I've seen, if I have seen. I mean, there's a couple good things coming out, so we'll see. Um, yeah, I think that'll do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. I would like to hit 100 subscribers by, EOY, end of the year. That would be ideal. I think right now I have like 80 subscribers or something like that. So 100 by the end of the year, in the next, 5 months, that would be really cool. Thanks again for, celebrating with me on episode 10. I can't wait to get to episode 12 and 13 and 14 or whatever. So follow the show on Spotify, leave a comment, like the podcast or whatever, do all of the algorithmic things that boost the show to other viewers and or listeners. I really appreciate that as well. Other than that, I will see you guys next week. Bye.